Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Christina Schmidt. I'm an I'm an assistant director in the financial aid office. And today we're talking about the FAOnline Portal and how to navigate it. So you're welcome to log into your own account and follow along with us if that's helpful. What to expect today. So we're just going to do a general navigation of the portal. If you have specific questions about some of the things that you're seeing pertaining to your numbers or your financial aid, I'd invite you to follow up and ask questions of your individual financial aid counselor. This information is important in helping you make your decision by deposit deadline on May 2nd. And if you decide to join us, this is a portal that you will continue to use as a student. It's a way to track your applications every year and to see any updates to your financial aid package. So I'd recommend you bookmark this and keep it handy for that reason. There is a Q&A box. If you have questions for us, we will get to those at the end. We do have someone from admissions here if there's an admissions related question that we can assist with as well. As we go through, we will point out some of the differences that may be seen, whether you're a domestic student or an international student. So we'll be sure to point those things out. And before we begin, I just want to have our team of financial aid experts here quickly introduce themselves. Maybe their names that are familiar to you. So it'd be nice to put some faces with names. So let's see, Patrick, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Patrick Hennessy. I'm an assistant director in the financial aid office. I've been with the office going on 8 years and excited to have you all with us today.
I'll go next. My name is Dominique Williams Hill. I am one of the assistant directors here at the University of Rochester. I've been at U of R for 10 years, but in this role as a financial aid counselor for 4 years now. And I'm excited to be working with you guys.
All right, I'll go next. So I'm Amanda Carter. I'm the deputy director in the office, and I've been here for almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years in October. And I am an alum of the university, as is Patrick as well. So.
And I'm Allison Warner. I'm a senior financial aid counselor here in the office, and I've been with the university for 3.5 years.
So we'll jump in with just some general logging in and troubleshooting.
All right, so logging in, once you get to the landing page for FAOnline, you'll be able to see up in that box in the right-hand corner where it says login. That's where you would put in your student ID number. Your student ID number for the University of Rochester is included in your email that you will receive from our office. Anytime we email about financial aid and having to log into FAOnline, we include your student ID number. You do have to create your own PIN. So after you enter your student ID number, you would click on the first time user if it's the first time you've ever logged into the system, and then you'll go ahead and create your own PIN. Our office does not have access to that PIN. So if you lose it, forget it, anything like that, and you need to have your PIN reset, you can always reach out to our office and we'll take care of that for you, but we can't provide the original one that you set up as we don't have access to it. There are included on the bottom half of the page under the login instructions, the requirements for creating a PIN, so just pay attention to those. Obviously, the system will let you know if you're not hitting those requirements, so pay special attention to those. And then also in terms of browser, the website usually works best with, I have found with Firefox is the one I usually don't have any issues with, but you can also try Internet Explorer or Chrome. Either of those might work well for you. But if you try to log in and run into issues and you feel like you're doing everything right and it's not working, try a different browser and see if that solves the problem for you. Sometimes that can work.
All right, so moving on next to the homepage. So once you've got your PIN all squared away, all of your login credentials, you can go ahead and log in and you will see the homepage of FAOnline. So there's a couple different things to look over here. First is just an overview as you see a couple bullet points of what information is available through the FAOnline portal. There's also an area in the upper right-hand corner where you can actually change the academic year that you're looking at. So as first year students, you currently only have the 22-23 academic year, but should you enroll in the university in future years, you'll be able to use FAOnline to both look at the current academic year worth of financial aid information, as well as go back and look at prior academic years for your historical financial aid information. Lastly, you can also pop open the menu in the upper left-hand corner, and you'll see all of the different pages available through FAOnline kind of lined up with those bullet points that you see here on the homepage. There also is a video version of this, a prior iteration of this webinar. So we do have a saved version. It's going to be very, very similar to the one that we're doing here today. So you can certainly go back and reference that. This is being recorded as well. So I'll turn it over to Christina for our next page.
All right, so let's jump into the menu. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of our aid package, and we'll go to the awards page. All right, it's important to note that this page and anything that you see in the Financial Aid Online portal is not a bill. Okay, the bill will be out in mid-July for the fall. And as you scroll down, we see our first set of numbers to indicate the budget. And this is typical of a first year incoming student budget. It includes the direct charges, the things that you'll see on a bill, so your tuition, fees, room and board, but also your indirect charges that we estimate you're going to pay out of pocket for room or for books and supplies, personal expenses, and travel. International students will also have health insurance included in their budget and will be charged accordingly. And as we scroll down, there is a link to be able to contact your financial aid counselor. It takes you to our website where you can look up your counselor. It will be based on your last name, or if you're as part of a specialized population within our campus community, you would find your counselor accordingly. So you're welcome to email us. We have a Calendly link where you can schedule a Zoom or phone appointment, or on campus or in person once you're here on campus. So feel free to reach out to us using this page. And let's see. We have information about, in red there, about loan eligibility, the unsubsidized loan. So if you completed a federal aid application or the FAFSA, you would be eligible for the unsubsidized loan. And we're going to talk a little bit more on how you can request that in just a bit. I skipped a paragraph about outside scholarships. So over the next few months, if you're receiving any outside scholarships, please send a copy of your award letter to your aid counselor so that we can make any adjustments to your aid package that might be necessary. All right, and then we have the consumer disclosure information. So that's linked here to our website, available for you to peruse and have a better understanding of how our office complies with federal policies and regulations, and make sure you have access to a lot of different information about our campus. All right, and now we get into the awards. So your total awards is going to be the sum of everything else below it. And you'll see the awards are split out by semester. And to start off, the grants and scholarships, that's the best money that you can get, something that you don't have to pay back. This particular student is getting a merit scholarship that renews each year for 4 years. The Rochester National Grant, there's a message for us to click on. So as we open this up, we learn that this award is subject to change each year as you complete your FAFSA or CSS profile and renew your aid application. And continuing down below, we have the federal direct subsidized loan that has been added to the aid package. We have a message to click on here, and make sure you scroll over if there's a scroll bar so you don't miss all of the messages. And while we don't have the interest rates yet for the 22-23 academic year, those won't be published for a few months yet. This is where you can look to get more information about your loans. And then clicking on the view documents. So if you decide to take out the loan that's been offered to you over the summer, you'll want to complete your entrance counseling and master promissory note at studentaid.gov. If you do not wish to take out this loan, this would be a situation in which you would email your aid counselor to decline it. And then finally, federal work study. So if you click on the message, you'll see that this is an opportunity for you to seek and apply for jobs on campus. Once you're here for orientation, you will gain access to our job link where you can begin to look for work that works around your academic schedule. Jobs are not guaranteed, so keep at it and keep applying. International students may have university work on their aid packages.
All right, it looks like we're on to me now. I'm going to be talking about the undergraduate college financing plan. So it was developed on behalf of the U.S. Department of Education. It was designed to simplify award information for prospective students and their families, making it easier to compare award offers and help students to make the most informed decision possible about which institution to attend. This page is not available to our international student population. So as you can see here, there is a reiteration of our cost of attendance to what was also on the awards page. Our expected family contribution is also posted. These figures are based off of what you provided on both the FAFSA and the CSS profiles, as well as your 2020 tax information. Rochester does have its own institutional methodology, which abides by the guidelines set forth by the College Board. These are comprised, again, like what Christina had said, these total costs of attendance are comprised of the indirect and direct charges that you will see on the bill and not on the bill. Scholarships and grants, these are the grants you will be awarded to you based on need and they require no repayment. Here are the scholarships. So as you can see, the scholarships from our school was awarded at $8,000. And then our institutional grant funding right here is under the $22,400 and is under our institutional grant funding. The student does not get any VA benefits. So if you were eligible for any VA benefits or you told us, it would potentially be listed right here. So college costs you will be required to pay, this little area in gold. This is the total cost after the grants and scholarships. This total is before you are awarded any other aid like federal work study and federal or private student loans. So this net cost for this student is $51,404, which again is a little bit different than the institutional one because it's not including the loans or the federal work study. So loan options, we have the federal direct subsidized loan at $3,500. The college financing plan has it broken down by federal, private, and institutional. They also have the interest rate listed as well as the origination fee. And again, in this case, it's the 1.06 origination fee for the federal loans. While you do have to repay loans, repayment on these loans is not required until you either fall below half-time enrollment in school, which is for just about 6 credit hours per semester. But for many students, it doesn't begin until 6 months after they graduate and complete their degrees. Now, for work options, it does include federal work study eligibility. If there was any campus employment options, this would also be on here as well. It is earned through work completed in a biweekly paycheck, and it's just like any other job. It does not appear as a credit towards your charges, as the money you earn goes directly to you in a paycheck. So the remainder of the document just shows general information about attending Rochester, regardless of your individual offer. These include estimated projections of the cost of attendance over 4 years, such as right there. Our graduation rate, our student loan default rate, which is how often our students fail to pay back their loans, Rochester's median borrowing amount, and which is basically how much our students borrow on average. There's also a glossary of commonly used financial aid terms that will help you navigate the document as well.
All right. I want to take a few moments to introduce you to our financial wellness program on campus. This is available to all students, called Financial Avenue. And you'll see our little money mascot, the Nowl, or the Knowledge Owl here. If you scroll down, you'll see him popping up in different places. So Financial Avenue enables students to do self-guided mini courses on a number of topics related to what I like to call money life skills. So anything from budgeting to managing money to building credit. Click on the link there, will take you to the website to check it out. So you'll log in, create a login using access code Meliora. And some of the courses there listed, if you click there, debit and repayment, loan guidance, money for your future. If you live off campus in a few years, the Foundations of Money course will be really helpful in helping you to learn how to build a budget. So I invite you to take some time to enjoy these resources and start building some skills that you'll take away with you even after graduation. And there's a number of blog articles and a number of topics related to finances as well. And finally, there is a repayment tool for managing your loans once those start to be applied to your account.
Okay, the next thing up on our list is the application screen. So the biggest thing to pay attention to when you come on here is right up at the top. It says if you don't see a document currently, it means you don't have any required applications to submit. So if you log into this screen and you don't see anything there, don't panic. It just means that in the moment, you don't have anything that you either need to apply for, need to request, need to submit. If we do have anything on there that we need for you to go ahead and complete, we will let you know if you haven't done it in a timely manner. So we do follow up with you about that. The one thing that you will see linked on here, and this is for domestic students specifically, is the unsubsidized loan application. So domestic students that receive federal aid do have the ability to request an unsubsidized loan through the federal government. It's a guaranteed student loan for domestic students. So when you go ahead and complete that, you will submit it and it's sent to your financial aid counselor to review your request and then add the loan if you do have eligibility within your aid package. If you go in after this session to look and see where that application is and you don't see one there, either you're not eligible for the loan or maybe you already have it as part of your financial aid package. So you just would want to check that. And if you have any follow-up questions about the loan itself, you would contact your financial aid counselor to go through that.
Alrighty, so next up on the list is the required documents page, which is definitely an important one that folks will want to keep an eye on now and all throughout if you choose to enroll in Rochester, all throughout your time at UR. So as the name of the page suggests, this is the page where you can review all of the different documents that are required for both your initial application for financial aid, as well as documents you may need to submit to accept certain portions or confirm certain portions of your financial aid package. As you see, there's a couple of different statuses that documents will be reflected on this page. So not received, received, not signed, incomplete, approved, or waived. So just to go through those really quick, not received essentially means that there's nothing there. Say we're requesting a copy of your parents' taxes and that is not received. That means we haven't received any portion of your parents' taxes. If you see something marked as received, that means we have received it. It may not have been reviewed yet, but it is on file and available for your financial aid counselor to review. Incomplete means that we may have a partial document, but we are waiting for more of it. So in this example student, if you scroll down in the little list of documents, you see that the parent W-2s 2020 are marked incomplete. So hypothetically, maybe this means that this student submitted one of their parents' 2020 W-2s, but one or more other W-2s may be missing. Essentially, incomplete means you've started getting us those documents, but a piece of those documents is missing. Approved means that we have received it. We have approved, meaning essentially reviewed it and done whatever we needed to. Waived may be that initially we determined we needed a certain aid document from you, but upon review of your other financial aid materials, we determined that it was no longer required for your aid award and therefore updated it to waived. If you see something marked waived, we do not need that document and you don't have to worry about it. So if we go down to the list of documents, you'll see that a couple of the documents actually will include hyperlinks on them. This was actually mentioned earlier. Christina talked about on the awards page how some awards will link to specific documents that are required in order to accept those awards, and any of those documents will also be listed here in this chart. If you click on the hyperlinks, they will direct you to whatever document needs to be completed. Maybe it's an online process, like here, the student loan entrance counseling to accept your federal loans, or if it's a form, it may link you to a copy of a PDF to access that form. We also have a link to all of our standard forms, different FAQs and that kind of thing there. So you can find most of our forms here through FAOnline, as well as through the financial aid website, rochester.edu/financial-aid. Along with the required documents here, we also feature a variety of important messages, kind of a summary of different things you need to know. A lot of this info you've already seen elsewhere in this webinar. Some of like the hyperlinks for details on the federal direct loan or the federal work study program. But we certainly encourage all of our students not only to go ahead and check out their required documents page to make sure that if we do need any additional information, they are submitting it. And then also read through those important messages, because those are going to give you a really good sense and idea of how some of the sources of your financial aid actually work. It helps kind of demystify this whole financial aid process for you.
Next up, we have the standard forms page. So on this page, we think it'd be, it's useful information to everyone for your time here at Rochester. It's always a good idea to check this page whenever you have any questions about any documents that are missing or anything that's needed. We have what's called the frequently asked questions for undergraduate students as well as graduate students. So if you guys go on to grad school, you'll have access to the FAOnline site then as well. So you can access the frequently asked questions for grad students as well. There's also helpful handouts on federal loans that are available to students. I highly recommend reviewing those handouts so you can get a better understanding of your federal loans, the interest rates, when repayment begins. That's definitely information you'll definitely want to know. Also on this page, there's forms such as the GRE waiver. So for example, if you have to submit a GRE waiver, if you request one for your junior year or your senior year, and you want to request a waiver, here are the instructions on how to request that waiver. On this page, there also may be some forms that you may be required to submit throughout the year. And if you need guidance on those forms, I definitely recommend you start here first to see what those forms are and why we are requesting them. Also, we have what's called the glossary of financial aid. So it's like our terms and conditions that all students have to submit the first time they log into their FAOnline account. So if you guys have logged into your FAOnline account already, you guys should have already received and saw the terms of conditions and accepted them. So next up, we have the New York State TAP fact sheet. I strongly recommend any student who resides in New York State who receives the TAP grant to review this document every year. It will help you walk through that. It'll walk you through completing the TAP application, because I understand it can be a little frustrating at times. So having this document up while you're completing the TAP application will definitely be a big help. We also have on here, it's called our FA handbook. So it's pretty much our policy on financial aid here at the University of Rochester. I recommend take a look at it. It's a lot of pages, but I definitely recommend if you have time to glance over and take a look and read the FA handbook, so that way it can help answer any questions you guys may have. Lastly, Amanda created 2 new documents that are awesome. They're called Understanding Your Incoming Aid Offer and How to Review the Award Screen. If you have any questions or are confused about how to read your financial aid offer, these forms are to help you get a better understanding of what an indirect charge is, or what a direct charge is, or what charge will actually anticipate and reflect on your bill. So if you are curious or still confused on how to read your award offer, I definitely recommend you take a look at the incoming aid offer, understanding your incoming aid offer, as well as reviewing the award screen. It would definitely be a big help.
All right, so next up, we're moving on to the disbursements page. So the term disbursement refers to funds, whether they're coming from the federal government, university, state, a third-party scholarship organization. Disbursement is the term for when the funds are actually sent or dispersed from the source of financial aid to the university billing system itself. So on the disbursements page here, you can actually monitor what sources of financial aid have or haven't been dispersed, aka received, by the university bursar's office, who handles all of our billing. So as you see here, all of the financial aid for this, all of the dispersible financial aid for this student is reflected here, both with the award amount that is expected to be dispersed, as well as an estimated disbursement date for each of those 2 semesters. The estimated disbursement date is based on 1 week before the start of a given semester, the start of classes, and we are unable to disperse financial aid, or financial aid cannot be dispersed until at earliest 1 week before the start of classes. So that's why we put in this estimated disbursement date of August 24th, a week before fall classes. Sometimes disbursements may occur right on that date, the 24th. Sometimes it may be a couple of days after, but typically quite soon after the estimated disbursement date. When the disbursement actually occurs, you'll see the right-hand side of this little chart start to fill up with that net disbursement amount and date disbursement occurred. So at that point, you can see, okay, how much of my fall semester Dean Scholarship, for example, was received, and what is the date that it was dispersed and that the university bursar's office received it. It's important to keep an eye on this page as well, because if you notice at the beginning of each semester that there are some funds which are not dispersing, that may be a good indication that you want to go ahead and check out the required documents page again. As I mentioned, some of the forms on the required documents page are tied to accepting specific forms of financial aid. So those types of financial aid will not be allowed to disperse until you have completed those required documents and authorized the disbursement. One good example here, maybe the first 3 items for the fall semester all disperse as expected on August 24th, but that last item, the federal direct subsidized loan, you notice hasn't dispersed. Well, that may be a good indication that you haven't completed those loan documents, which we took a look at earlier. So again, if you notice disbursements are estimated on a certain date, but are, it's a week has gone by and still nothing has happened, that may mean we are missing some information from you, which you'll need to submit, and from there confirm or authorize the disbursement.
All right, the last page we have going on here is the loan history page. So this is a summary of the federal loans that you've borrowed. This particular page is not available to international students, so please be aware of that. And again, it's just your federal loans that you've borrowed while at the University of Rochester. It does pull in information from the National Student Loan Database System, which you can see linked up there, and you can go out and visit that website if you'd like to. That's a good place to go and review with the federal government any loans that you've borrowed. That summary will be there. So this page is available all throughout your academic career at Rochester, so you can always log in there for each academic year and see what you've borrowed. And then as you move through each year, if you borrow more every year, it'll start to include those numbers as well. So the $3,500 you see listed there is a subsidized loan, which is pretty standard for an incoming domestic first-year student.
All right, so we invite you to use our Q&A feature to ask any questions. And I do see a question about the Financial Avenue page and parents' ability to access that. Great question. Glad you asked. Parents, you can create your own account. So when you can use the access code Meliora, and as you're filling out the form, it'll ask you to identify yourself as a parent. So yes, please feel free to access Financial Avenue yourselves. We've enjoyed our time with you today, and thank you for joining us. And we hope to see you in the fall as the class of 2026.